and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about the beginnings of the Seventh-Day Adventist denomination. You know, religious ideas rarely just appear spontaneously. They're the result of human experience and culture and circumstances. And the Seventh-Day Adventist Church was a direct result of the Great Disappointment of 1844. That was a previous movement called Millerism, or the Millerites. The basis of the movement was a prediction that Jesus Christ would return to the earth on October 21st, 1844, to cleanse the earth and set up his kingdom. And when that didn't happen, the people were faced with something called cognitive dissonance. Now, cognitive dissonance is the idea that our belief system doesn't match what appears to be reality. So the people had to decide whether they would give up their beliefs, and if not, they had to find an explanation for the seemingly and apparently wrong prediction. So from this cognitive dissonance came the movement called Seventh-Day Adventism. Their solution came in the form of visions by a teenage girl named Ellen Harmon. Her initial vision was just 2 months after the disappointment, December 1844, and it reassured the Adventists that they had been correct in their prediction, just not in their explanation of the scripture. And I have more to say about that, their explanation in just a minute. So Ellen Harmon began to travel among the former Millerite groups, telling about her visions and offering new hope to the people. In either 1845 or earlier in 1846, she met the elder James White, whom she married on August 30th, 1846. They were both strong Adventists, believers in that movement, and they soon became acquainted with Elder Joseph Bates. And Joseph Bates convinced them that Sabbath worship, that is, setting aside the seventh day of the week for rest and honoring God, was essential for a person's salvation. And these three people formed the nucleus of the Seventh-day Advent Church at that time, and it became a legally recognized denomination on May 21st, 1863. It is said that between her first vision and 1863, Ellen White had between 200 and 400 additional visions. So how did they explain the apparent failure of the 10/21/1844? Well, Daniel 8:14 was the basis of their prophecy. Let me just quickly read that one verse. It says, "For 2,300 evenings and mornings, then the sanctuary shall be restored to its rightful state." So they use this number, 2,300, as the basis for figuring out when the return of Jesus would be. So Seventh-day Adventists explain this apparent discrepancy with a doctrine that's unique to them, foundational to their faith, called the sanctuary doctrine, and sometimes the investigative judgment. What they believe is that on October 21st, 1844, Jesus went from the holy place in the heavenly temple into the Holy of Holies, the most holy place, very much as the high priest did on the Day of Atonement in the earthly temple when he went into the most holy place once a year for the sacred ritual for the forgiveness of sin. Ever since that time, Jesus has been in the Holy of Holies conducting an investigative judgment of the people of God. And when this judgment is complete and the number of those who will be saved and part of the kingdom is completed, he will then return to earth to set up his kingdom. And the sign that one is potentially a part of that kingdom is worship on the seventh day, the Sabbath day, and obedience to the commands of the Bible. Well, from the time of the establishment of the denomination onward, Ellen White continued as leader and prophet of the Seventh-Day Adventist Church until her death, July 16, 1915. I'll be doing lots more teaching about the Seventh-Day Adventist beliefs and practices, plus more about Ellen White and the controversy surrounding her visions in the future. If you have any questions about Seventh-Day Adventists or Ellen White, please put them in the comments section and I'll either answer them directly or try to in a future video. I'll also be doing other videos about how religious movements reflect their cultural environment. Religion is just one part of history in the making, but it's an important and an interesting part. So I want to thank you for joining with me again and supporting these videos. And I invite you, of course, always to leave your questions and comments and suggestions for things about spirituality, whether it is ancient or modern, that you'd like to learn about. I hope you can join with me again next week. In the meantime, stay safe and healthy. Have a great week. I'll see you then. Bye for now.